You are listening to Attractive Relationships, the podcast where we dive deep into the art and science of relationships and communication. I'm Rico Armstrong, your host and advocate for attractive, happy relationships. In a world where relationships play a crucial role in our personal and professional lives, understanding how to communicate to connect with others is essential. Transform your communication skills to increase your social status, your social confidence, and help you gain the best relationships you can have. Welcome to Attractive Relationships. All right. I would love for you to think back to like when you first started dating. And I don't mean like you know, the young love, like when you don't really know what you're doing. I mean, when you're like actually start to take things like really seriously and you're looking for advice. Somebody probably told you this, and let me know if this happened. Somebody probably said you should, one, never settle, and two, make a list of all the things that you want. And you should go out and find that of what you want and not settle. Have you ever been told something along those lines? And I remember being told that as a young person, before my first marriage. And I think that is one of the pieces of advice that isn't as good as it sounds. And I'll tell you why. And then I'll tell you what I think is actually better than just making a list. And the reason why I say that is it's not that it's a bad idea, but it can be very misleading. And I'll give you an example. There was one time I was in my young 20s. Not that I was super wise and super experienced by any means, but I was older than this one teenager who had a huge crush on a friend of mine named Kenny. Now, Kenny was about 15, 16 years old. This girl was about 14, 15 years old, and she had a real crush on Kenny. And and I said, "Well, what is it about Kenny that you love so much?" And do you know what she did? She started making a list of everything that why Kenny was so great, and what Kenny could do for her. Then I asked her, I said, "Great. Sounds like you're really into Kenny. What do you have to offer for Kenny?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, you just listed off so many things. Like he's got goals and ambitions, and he's going to go to college, and he's going to be this and that, and he's funny, and he makes you laugh, and he does all." I'm like, if I was to vouch for you for Kenny, like, what do I tell him about you that helps him in his life? And she was dumbfounded. Can I use that word? Dumbfounded? I think that's the right context. She was shocked. She was almost speechless. She didn't know exactly what to say. And even though she would say stuff, "Oh, well, I'm me, I'll be good to him." I'm like, "Well, how so? Like you were very specific about Kenny. How about you towards him?" And she couldn't do it. And it's not her fault. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if I had went to Kenny and if Kenny had a crush on somebody, if I were to ask Kenny, "What do you have to offer?" he might struggle the same way that this girl struggled about him. Why is that? Again, I remember going on a date with a girl, same thing. I said, "What do you want from a relationship? What do you want in a guy?" And she did not hesitate to tell me, "Here's what I want." And there was just down this list. But as soon as I said, "Okay, but what are you offering?" Nothing. And not to pick on girls, because you know what? The truth is guys do it too. I did it because that's what I was told. I was told that I should create a list of the things that I want in a life partner and a marriage mate and to not settle. And so that's what I did. And you know what ended up happening? I got almost everything. Well, I got all the most important things on my list. And on the nice to have, kind of like when you like buying a house, then you have the must haves and the nice to haves. I got almost all of that too. And it ended up in an unhappy marriage and eventually divorce. Clearly, the list itself was not enough for a happy marriage. Even if you don't settle, it's not enough for a happy marriage that lasts a lifetime. And so where's the problem and what can we do about it? Well, part of the problem is that a list is very selfish. A list of what we want in a prospective partner only list what we want from them. But as if you've been hearing, what it does not do is tell us how we are a good match for the other person. And if you really love somebody, you want to be a good match for them. We're not just concerned about how they can give us what we want or what we feel we deserve. So that's inherently the problem with the list is that it's inherently selfish, and it's really hard to have real love and happiness when we are focused on the selfish parts, the things that only serve us. Now, please don't misunderstand. It's necessary that we have our needs met. What I'm also saying is it's just as important in the relationship that we are able to help the other person with their needs. And making a list that's all about ourselves makes it harder to focus on that aspect of the relationship. So, what do we do? Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, uh, you'll know that what I've said in the past, and it still rings true today, that what really helps make a marriage last, there's a few components, but the most important component is understanding not just your goals in life, but your purpose in life, and making sure that you are working in harmony with that purpose and that the person that you're with helps enhance your purpose or further that cause. When you go through a painful breakup or divorce, it makes you not trust people quite so easily. So whenever I expressed what happened when I went through my divorce after a 9-year marriage, a lot of people started to ask, how did you get through it? And the truth is that after a lot of reflection, a lot of study on psychology and communication, I realized that it's just really 4 things that I had to wrap my brain around. And those 4 things allowed me to not only get past a painful divorce, but to be able to find people and attract people that I can trust, that help me in life to achieve the things that I really want to achieve and be fulfilled and happy. And so, because a lot of people had asked me about this particular thing, I decided maybe it's a good idea to teach this to everybody, because I want everybody to be their best selves and not be tied down from a past relationship that's preventing them from the relationships in the future that you may really want. So if you want to learn how to be able to attract and connect with people that you can actually trust, especially if you're single, if you've been through a bad breakup or a divorce, I'm thinking about doing this program for a very small group of people, maybe 20 or less. Now, I haven't opened this program yet, but if you would like to be one of the first to know when it does open and be on that list, go ahead and click the link below. It's free to know, and I look forward to talking to you more about it later. If you can find a partner that does that for you, and you can do that for your partner, that is better than a particular list. Or we could reshape this into saying that your list should be all about how someone can enhance your purpose in life, and you know how, and you being able to help their purpose in life. Does that make sense? So the difference, like, so for example, for me personally, my purpose in life, that really, like, when I wake up every day, I want to do this every day that I wake up. It puts a fire in my gut, even on bad days. My purpose in life is I want to be able to help people be the best versions of themselves possible. Because when you are your best self, you are then able to inspire others to be their best selves, which then allows us to have groups and communities, whether it's at work or at home or at church or with your family. When we show up as our best selves, everybody is better for it. And if I can be something that helps you to do that, man, that's what I want to do every day. That's what I try to do every day. So when I am partnered with somebody, that person needs to understand that I will sell out for that purpose. And I need you to be along for that ride. Help me to figure out how I can serve that purpose better. And I will do the same for you if it's within my power to do so. That sounds so much better than saying, well, I want someone who is so tall and weighs this much and has this job and you know like those are it's just not the same. Like that's not motivating. Looks will fade. A person's job does not make up who they are. uh, and even if somebody, like, I remember when I was dating my now wife, and I said, "Why do you like me?" And she started out by saying, "Well, you treat me well." And I just always responded back. I'm like, "But that's like the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. Like, you're dating somebody to contemplate living life with them forever. They should be more than just nice and funny." Because there's a bunch of people that can be nice or funny or have money or treats you well. There's got to be something more special about that person that you are willing to support, than more so than simply how they make you feel because they check boxes on a list. I I hope this isn't too deep for some of you. I hope this is making sense. And I believe that when people don't make sense of this, it's mainly because they confuse their purpose with their goals. All right. Maybe you feel like your goal in life is to make a bunch of money. Maybe you feel like your goal in life is to have a children and a house. But I could argue that those are goals. Those are goals. A family is an extension of you. The things you own is a reflection of you, but not necessarily of your purpose. And your purpose, if you read the book, Start With Why, and if you also read the book, Find Your Why, both of them by Simon Sinek, your purpose is not about you, and it's not about an extension of you. Your purpose is about how you contribute towards other people in society. If you can figure that out, if you can figure that out, you will talk and walk and act in a different way with so much more confidence and vibrance of life. And you will attract more people to you, the right kind of people that can help fulfill you in your purpose in life, which by extension makes you happier. And if you can do that for the person that is attracted to you in that sense, and how you walk around and how you talk as you walk into your purpose, some people might call it walking in their higher self, then you can really attract relationships that are worthwhile with people that you can actually trust. And it won't just be romantic relationships. That's maybe the pinnacle, but it'll be that way at your workplace. It'll be that way with your friends. It'll be that way everywhere you go. And it's awesome. So having said that, I am launching a new course, and this is a course about attracting and connecting with people you can actually trust. This is a course, like, it's been helpful for me after a 9-year marriage that ended in divorce. It was very painful. It's hard to trust people. And I'm not the only one who's been through a divorce or through a bad breakup. And so if you find that you are single or really having a hard time trusting the person that you're with for whatever the reasons are, this course is designed to help you see how you can attract and connect with people that you can actually trust, that help you in your life be better so you can be the best version of yourself possible, because you're happier and everybody around you is also happier when you are more to your best self. So if that is of interest to you, make sure to click the link below. It's going to be a small, intimate group. So when this launches, if you want to be the first to know when that program launches, make sure to click the link in the notes, in the show notes. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you next time. As we come to the end of another episode of Attractive Relationships, I want to express my gratitude to you for tuning in. Your support really does mean the world to me. Now, if this episode brought you any value, I would truly appreciate it if you shared this podcast with anyone that you think could benefit from our discussions on effective communication and relationship building. Until next time, remember, great relationships start with great communication. So stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep building those attractive relationships.